We are live now.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to day 4 of the International Faculty Development Program, hosted Don Bosco College, Bangalore, in collaboration with St. John's University and Institute for International Communication, New York. Today's session centers on the theme, Research, Temperament, and Collaborative Research, and led by Dr. Tiffany Mohr, an eminent scholar with a wealth of experience in fostering academic inquiry and research. In an era driven by knowledge and innovation, research serves as the backbone of academic excellence and societal progress. Developing a research temperament isn't just about discovering new knowledge, but cultivating curiosity, critical thinking, and a collaborative spirit. Dr. Mohr will guide us through this important topic. Before that, let us have a look at her profile.
Dr. Tiffany Mohr is an assistant professor at St. John's University in Collins College of Professional Studies, where she also serves as the director of the Public Relations and Advertising program. Passionate about service learning, Dr. Mohr connects students with nonprofit organizations to create impactful campaigns for national nonprofits such as Icing Smiles, Build On, and Invisible Hands. Her research focuses on the strategic communication for interest groups, nonprofit organizations, and corporate social responsibility initiatives. Her work has been featured in leading journals, including the Journal of Communication Management, Public Relations Review, and International Journal of Strategic Communication. Through her teaching, research, and service, Dr. Mohr continues to inspire future leaders in public relations and advertising. Don Bosco College welcomes you.
Hearty welcome, Professor, and we are all ears, eagerly looking forward to listen and learn. Over to you.
Thank you. Thank you to the faculty and administration of Don Bosco. Thank you to Dr. Basilio Montero of St. John's University for bringing us all together today. And I'm excited to speak with you all about research collaboration and temperament. So let me share presentation with you today. Okay. Again, thank you for either starting your day with us or ending your day with us. I appreciate your time, and I'm excited to speak with you today about an all-important topic: research collaboration. Collaboration is something many of us speak about. We yearn for it, we look for it, we try to achieve it, but it is difficult nonetheless, especially when we are talking about interdisciplinary work. And so I'm hoping that by the end of this session that we have either developed some potential collaborations with the participants today, or we are feeling bold enough to reach outside of our own silos to collaborate with our colleagues. So today, we're going to talk about motivations for research. While this could be varied from person to person, we're also going to discuss the implications for someone's career phase, how this may impact your ability, your time, and your motivation for conducting research. We'll also discuss the obstacles and opportunities for collaboration, how we can best benefit a project and a research team. We will also discuss interdisciplinary research. It's something that is increasingly called for as we are siloed within our own expertise. And hopefully, again, by the end of the session, we will all be feeling more comfortable reaching outside of our own disciplines. My favorite part of the presentation is going to be the research temperament taxonomy that I've named it. So it's a list or a categorization of different types of approaches that we all possess to conducting research with our own personalities and what we bring to the table. Being self-aware of how we approach our work and our research will hopefully be of use to us in understanding what we can do to enhance collaborative work. And then finally, we will discuss research as pedagogy. I'll present a case study of my own graduate class that I am teaching this semester and how we're going to use research as a pedagogical tool. So the first thing that I would like to discuss are our motivations for research. Three primary areas that I've identified are intrinsic, extrinsic, and social. Intrinsic, we are perpetually curious and we are passionate about our fields. We want to learn, we want to explore, we want to understand. And so these motivations are natural. It's not something that needs to be honed or developed. It is inherent to us as researchers to be constantly curious. And so this is one approach to our motivation. Extrinsic, on the other hand, is slightly different. This could be for career advancement. It could be to secure funding. It could be to elevate the institutional recognition of our universities. Neither one is more important than the other. They are just simply different. And I think it's important to recognize that we as researchers have different motivations for conducting research. And then also we have a social component. This could be to have a societal impact. It could be to mentor students, to connect and have a deeper relationship with our colleagues. But I think it's important to acknowledge that not every project, not every line of inquiry is going to possess the same type of motivation. And so if we can understand and identify our desire to research, our desire to conduct a project, it will, I think, help us in understanding maybe those that we're collaborating with might differ in their motivation for conducting research. Identifying our own motivation, but understanding how ours may differ from another, I think is important when conducting a project. I think it's also important to recognize that not all of our peers, of our colleagues, of our fellow researchers are in the same career phase that we are. It's important to recognize that the needs of research or the desire for research may differ and vary at different phases throughout our careers. So for our students, I know it doesn't feel like all that long ago that I was a student. I was so excited and so enthused and so curious. I wanted to learn everything and I wanted to do it quickly. And I wanted to understand how my field worked and produce groundbreaking, innovative research. And our students are so excited and so hopeful. They propose massive projects that can only be whittled down to tiny bits of work. But it's important to recognize that for students, at least, they're very ambitious and they're very hopeful. And I think that should be mentored and recognized, but also tempered with the necessary reductions in terms of ability to complete a certain project. But recognizing that our students are very hopeful and very excited is important, and we should mentor and appreciate their excitement. For our early career researchers, they're looking to build on their expertise, and they're possibly seeking mentorship from more senior researchers. It's important for us to understand that early career researchers are conducting research not only because they are excited about the field and they have some intrinsic motivations, but also they are seeking career advancement through tenure and promotion, through recognition, through seeking permanent positions. This could be a different approach as to, or rather than a student. Mid-career researchers they're balancing administrative roles, they're balancing service, they're balancing mentorship of graduate students, and maybe looking for opportunities for interdisciplinary work. They've achieved expertise in their field, and now they're looking to explore outside perhaps. This is important to recognize given their more administrative duties, their service obligations, and where they are in their career. And so understanding the difference, again, between these different career phases is important when you're seeking a collaborative partner. And then finally, our senior researchers. They are perhaps looking to leave a legacy, to build their network, to mentor the next generation of their field. Maybe they have more time to give to students and early career researchers as opposed to someone who's mid-career. Maybe they are able to have more forward-thinking, big picture approaches to research projects. And so again, not any one of these phases of someone's career is beneficial for a project. It's just a matter of choosing strategically where you position yourself in your project and what your peers can bring to the table. Of course, with any project or any research endeavor, there's going to be obstacles and many opportunities. So some of the challenges associated with collaborative research can be conflicting goals. Sometimes we have different personalities, egos, a lack of time, a lack of understanding, commitment, perhaps. We also have issues at an institutional level. This could be funding constraints, administrative barriers, or even policies that prevent us from collaborating or exploring a certain topic. This is especially true at cross-institutional collaborations. And so it's important that we recognize and understand ways of approaching these obstacles and ways to overcome them. We also might have a cultural difference when it comes to collaboration. Just before the session started, I admitted that I was excited about the opportunity to collaborate outside of my discipline. My background is in social sciences and communication. But if I was to approach, say, somebody from computer science, data science, I would be very intimidated. I feel as if they speak an entirely different language than I do. And so when you have discipline-specific norms and approaches to research, it can be intimidating to venture outside of it. But recognizing it, identifying it, and acknowledging the fact that we approach projects differently is the first step to collaboration. And so I think it's important that we recognize the obstacles to doing so. And then, although, again, there are hoops that we may have to jump through, there are immense opportunities when it comes to us collaborating and conducting research together. So first of all, there is a breadth and depth of expertise and different perspectives and that are available to us once we reach outside of our discipline. We have the increased availability of resources and productivity. I know for me personally, I always do better or commit more of myself when I feel beholden to someone else, when I have a co-author, when I'm a part of a project or a research team. I feel much more dedicated to it as opposed to writing something on my own because I have other people in mind. And so not only does it take maybe more time to collaborate with somebody, but it's also much more beneficial to work together on something because you feel more beholden, again, connected to the project. You also have the ability to have a broader impact. I know we are increasingly measuring our outcomes of our productivity, whether this is for good, for bad. But in terms of impact, publishing in journals that not have just an increased impact factor, but have a broader audience, a broader readership, I think is a key component or an opportunity to explore with collaborative interdisciplinary research. So, while we have our own expertise, we have our own approaches to our discipline, I truly believe that it is beneficial to address complex world problems, pressing social issues through an interdisciplinary lens. Many of us are from humanities, social sciences, STEM. It's important that we integrate our expertise and our way of thinking to have a more holistic approach to addressing our pressing issues of today and understanding and furthering our field. Many institutions, including my own at St. John's, have incentives for applying for grants with people from different backgrounds, different networks, and it's important that institutions and global networks, just like this one, acknowledge the benefit of bringing together interdisciplinary work. So with that in mind, I would like for us all to collaborate. We can have a short exercise using our chat function today on Zoom. I would love if everyone is feeling so inclined to write a 5 to 6, 7-word topic you're interested in researching. You can put below it your area of expertise and your email address, perhaps. We can copy and paste the text chat and email it to everyone afterwards. But if everyone would like to document something that is of interest to them today, we can collaborate. So for instance, if I was to do this, I would put enhancing community partnerships. My background is in communication and my email address. So we want to take just 2 to 3 minutes. If you would like to put your own interests in the chat, hopefully we can establish some interesting interdisciplinary and international collaborations. I'll wait just a few minutes and allow everyone to write in the chat. Okay, if you're not finished, that's okay. Please feel free to continue in the chat. Again, just a couple words on something that you're interested in, your background, and your email address. So one thing that we can do as researchers is be self-aware. We can be aware of our personality, our approach to research, our approach to relationships and research projects, our strengths and weaknesses. And through identifying them and becoming more aware of our abilities, we can enhance our collaborations and enhance our approaches to collaborative work. So I'm going to present what's called the research temperament taxonomy, different archetypes of people, of researchers, and the way that they approach projects. I would ask that you try to identify who you are in terms of your past collaborations, maybe who you want to be in your future collaborations, and explore ways that you can enhance your temperament, your personality when it comes to collaborative work. So the first type that we have is the explorer. This person is curious, they are open-minded, they have an intrinsic motivation for conducting research. They are happy to research in search of knowledge and furthering the field. They don't necessarily possess the extrinsic motivations, the funding, the promotion, the advancement, things like that. So for them, conducting research is the reward in itself. They may struggle with deadlines. They may not necessarily be committed to a long-term project, but they are interested and invested in exploring their field. So they prefer interdisciplinary teams. They like to enjoy the company of others in their pursuit of knowledge. We also have the strategist. The strategist is very detail-oriented, goal-oriented. They excel at planning, at management of a team, and they are about achieving objectives and deliverables for a research project. They work well with others, and they respect structure and deadlines. This is key for many of us, given our many commitments that we have to our students, to our administration, to service, to our own research, to our collaborative research. And so a strategist can be a really helpful person when it comes to a collaborative work. Then we have one of my favorite archetypes, the connector. If any of you know Dr. Montero, I would say this is Dr. Montero. He's a connector. He brings together people. He brings together projects. He brings together ideas. He builds networks. He mentors. He contributes to collaborative effort. He thrives in a team setting and prioritizes the team, the network over necessarily the project itself, which in turn allows the project to thrive. So a connector is somebody who's very sociable, who brings people together and allows people to thrive in an interdisciplinary setting. We also have the analyst. So this person is methodical. They are skeptical in a healthy way. They are constantly striving to produce measurable results. They excel in data-heavy projects, and they have conceptual ideas, maybe not necessarily able to enact them with precision, but they are able to produce interesting collaborations, interesting results, and they have a very structured approach to research. This is important for those of us who maybe lack structure, maybe are more of an explorer, more of a big idea person. An analyst can help ground us in our approach. And then we have our visionary. So this person is a big picture person. They're innovative. They look forward. They identify our pressing issues of today. They're interested in addressing global challenges. They generate ambitious ideas. They prefer big picture projects over, let's say, smaller empirical work. They prefer theoretical challenges and producing work that is going to have some sort of like social impact. And so our visionaries can be wildly useful for those of us who maybe get caught up in our discipline in sort of the day-to-day aspects of it. A visionary may help us break outside of our own thought process, our own silo, to have a more broader impact. And then the all-important problem solver. This person is practical, they're resourceful, they locate funding, they're very action-oriented. They build bridges, they help us further theory and practice, and this is a very pragmatic person. Again, for those of us who maybe lack some of the problem-solving abilities of a project, this person would be wildly helpful in overcoming some of these obstacles that we discussed to collaborative work. And then we have our synthesizer. This person is going to be essential to interdisciplinary work. They are integrative, they're adaptive, they bring together people and synthesize, speak different languages, so to speak, of different disciplines. They bridge the gap between our silos, and they allow us to conduct interdisciplinary work just because of who they are and how they can navigate different fields. They may struggle in producing discipline-specific work. This may impact their their promotion, but they're a key component or a key person when bringing together others from outside fields. And then finally, we have our advocate. This person is purpose-driven. They're very socially conscious. They like driving social change. They like advocating for marginalized communities. At St. John's University, part of our charism is for advocating and being of service to marginalized communities. And so I would say that many of our faculty possess this type of trait or this approach when it comes to their own research, is being an advocate, not conducting research for the sake of conducting it, but with a greater purpose in mind. And so this person can be very useful for a project when they bring a social awareness, a human component to an otherwise data-driven research project. So these archetypes, or this taxonomy of temperaments, is not meant to categorize us or to pigeonhole us into specific types, but it's rather a way for us to understand ourselves and how we approach projects, and to hopefully collaborate with people that complement our temperaments. It's not to say that we possess inherent flaws when it comes to our approaches to research, but rather allows us to identify who we are, what our strengths are, and then have people collaborate with us that, again, complement our own temperaments. So if you're feeling so inclined as well, you can use the chat function. Maybe you have a specific archetype that you identified with. You can throw that in there. I think also what would be an interesting exercise is for us to claim what we feel our temperament is, or our type is, but then also to ask our colleagues perhaps what they feel our temperament is. It would be an interesting exercise to see if our perception of ourselves is how our colleagues perceive us as well. So again, this is all in pursuit and in service of more successful collaborations, being self-aware and bringing to the table those who complement our research and our collaborations. And finally, I have a case study that I would like to present to you, research as pedagogy. This is a tool that we can use to inspire our students and to allow them to practice their skills, get them excited about their field, and collaborative research. So this spring, spring 2025, our semester starts tomorrow, as I believe Don Bosco does as well. I'm teaching a graduate class of 9 students. 3 of them are PhD students, 6 of them are MA students in international communication. I'm teaching this course in the community engaged learning or academic service learning style, meaning that the course is partnered with community organizations, nonprofit organizations, in hopes of creating a mutually beneficial learning experience for the student and experience for the nonprofit in furthering their mission and their goals. It's through these collaborations that I find students learn the most and become more globally minded and broad thinking, and allows them to reach outside of their day in, day out academic experience, to recognize the community that they are living and working and learning in outside of just this university bubble, which I think is very important for students, and for us as faculty as well. So a course of 9 students in the academic service learning environment. Students are going to conduct a series of 4 interviews, 4 in-depth interviews over this series of a semester with a designated nonprofit organization. They're going to be recording the interviews, they're going to be doing the data analysis, and it's all in support of a proposed model of of relationship building for community engaged learning. This is a conceptual model that I developed that incorporates appreciative inquiry, which is a strengths-based approach to furthering institutional advancement for nonprofit organizations or corporations. It also is connected to relational outcomes. So through Discovery, Dream, Design, Destiny, students are going to be interviewing nonprofit organizations on these 4 themes throughout the semester. This allows them to conduct original research. They have to go through a institutional review board ethics course in order to work with human subjects. It allows them to practice speaking to others, to interviewing, honing their skills that way. It allows them to analyze qualitative data and present their findings. It gives them ownership over a project, which I think is key for our students, and allowing them and supporting them to have ownership over something that they're working on. I think far too often, sometimes students are subsumed or made a part of research teams that are somebody else's idea, somebody else's project. But I feel that this approach, allowing them to work with an individual nonprofit and have ownership of the project, allows them to be more invested and more committed to advancing their knowledge, their skills, and through these interviews. And so I can't present the findings to you yet. This is a work in progress, of course, but I'm excited to see how the students progress in terms of their learning and their ability through this pedagogy. So in wrapping up for today, some main takeaways. I think it's important for us to identify our motivations, whether these are intrinsic, extrinsic, social. Acknowledge our career phase, where we are in our careers, and how this may impact us as scholars, as co-authors, as project leaders, what our time commitments may be, what our constraints may be, and finding, again, people that complement where we are in our phase of our career. And then being able to identify our personal temperament. Are you an explorer? Are you an analyst, a synthesizer, an advocate? And then again, finding those people that complement your own personal approach to projects will be a successful way to approach collaboration and interdisciplinary work. Being cognizant of our obstacles and our opportunities with collaborative work. We have, especially in the northeastern United States, very real budget constraints and enrollment issues. This trickles down to support for research. It trickles down to the amount of funding that is available to us. And so it's important to identify these obstacles, but also counteract them with the opportunities for collaborative work. And at the end of the day, being bold with our interdisciplinary research, reaching outside ourselves, becoming comfortable being uncomfortable. I'm going to reach out to someone in computer science that I've been looking to work with at St. John's, but I've been too afraid to, because it's important and because it's in service of a project. Even though this person has a completely different approach and expertise than myself, it can be intimidating to reach out, but I think it's important. So I would challenge all of you to do the same. If there's someone that you admire and the work that they do, maybe send them an email after this and see what comes of it. And then finally, our research as pedagogy, involving our students, involving them in conducting original research, not only for their own personal learning, but to enhance collaborative work as well. Our students are our collaborators, and for me, my greatest inspiration for conducting research. So these are my main takeaways for today. I hope that you will send that email after this to that person that you've been looking to work with. And I want to thank you for your time. This is my email. This is also my WhatsApp contact. So please feel free to reach out to me in service of collaboration or otherwise. So thank you for being here. And again, ending your day or starting your day with us. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Dr. Mohr. It was a great session and many insights for us to look into, starting from identifying our archetype, which is very essential because when we collaborate, it is important for us to know our working style and also to understand the working style of the person we would be collaborating with. So it was indeed a great session, a lot of reflection, and I'm sure this activity is going to benefit and take in the next few days, a lot of collaborative research would come forward. We have most of our participants who have shared their areas of interest and their email IDs in the chat section. So we will consolidate that and we will email it to all the participants so that it would benefit them. I have one question from Dr. Deepa. The question is, do prestigious universities abroad provide scholarships for Indian students? If so, what are the protocols to be followed?
I can speak from a couple perspectives. One, large state universities, and then smaller private universities. If a university is state funded, they typically have more resources, more funding available for international students. They fund them insofar as they provide what's called a stipend. They give them some sort of position within the university. Their tuition is paid for, and they receive a small stipend to for living expenses, with the understanding that they don't seek outside employment during their time with the university. I will say that inflation is, of course, a very real concern. Cost of living is, again, a very real concern. The stipends available to our graduate students are not much. I can, again, speak from my own experience and say that I received a stipend as a graduate student, but still needed to take out student loans in order to pay living expenses as a graduate student. And so, yes, they are funded. They are given free tuition and a small stipend, but it is not as much as, of course, one would hope in support of our graduate students. However, many institutions have graduate student unions, and they organize to promote the interests of graduate students. Before, graduate students were not offered health insurance. They were not offered different benefits as, say, a regular employee, but now they are increasingly over the last couple of years because they are employees. They are contributing to the betterment of the university. They are working for the university. And so now I would say that most institutions offer benefits and health insurance to their graduate students. Now, these are state-funded schools, larger schools. Smaller private universities have less, I would say, less funding for students just because of the way that they themselves are funded. So for instance, at St. John's, we have a few positions for our graduate students, but by and large, they are not fully funded, that they pay for their own education and for their own tuition.
Thank you for giving us a very realistic picture on that. The next question we have is, how does interdisciplinary collaboration enhance creativity and innovation in problem solving?
Oh, I think it's the bedrock of innovation and creativity. Too often, we, again, are siloed in our own disciplines and our own expertise, that we forget to look outside of ourselves and address problems from a more robust, holistic perspective. Going outside of our disciplines, being bold and reaching out to someone that is an expert in their field that we may know nothing about can only enhance a project when managed correctly. Again, there's going to be cultural differences, different in terms of different motivations, different career phases, different approaches, temperaments. And so it's important to recognize those. But in a healthy way that allows a project to thrive under interdisciplinary work. I think bridging the humanities, STEM, social science can only enhance our understanding of the world around us.
Thank you, Dr. Mohr. So in collaboration would surely enhance creativity and help us come out of our silos. The next question that we have is, research nowadays are repetitive, and sometimes it's done for the sake of PhD, or a person has to publish research paper, which enhance their profile. According to me, this is according to the person, research should come from the questions raised within us and not from the development of profession alone, though it's a part of what is your idea on this query?
It's unfortunate, and I'm sure you have a similar saying. We have here in the United States, it's called publish or perish. You publish your work or you perish. You publish or you're not promoted. And so sometimes our projects suffer as a result of this. I am certainly guilty of this. I'm an assistant professor. I'm still working my way towards a permanent position, a tenured position. And I would absolutely say that funding, time constraints, requirements for publications absolutely impacts the quality and level of my work. If I didn't have the time constraints, the outputs that are necessary in order to have, you know, the promotion or the permanent position, I think of course the work would be have a better quality. Absolutely. I would love to sit and think and ponder the questions of the universe and how I can contribute to them and solve them. Unfortunately, that is not the nature of academia by and large. And so while I think at different phases of our careers, we have to, again, temper our motivations with the expectations that of us. But hopefully, as we progress, we have more freedom, more time, more ability to, again, have those intrinsic motivations that you spoke of in service of our work. I'll let you know when I get there.
So the next question we have is, how do we handle distractions or interruptions during focused research work?
I wish I had a good answer for that. I have a bad habit, and I'll share with you. I get very excited about projects. So much so that I hop from one to another, and I have a difficult time finishing them. I have a difficult time finishing the project and submitting it for publication because I'm excited about the next idea, or my student approaches me with a project and I say, yes, let's do that. And I may not commit to finishing something that I'm currently working on. So I know that about myself. So I like to surround myself with people that are detail oriented, that are deadline oriented, that are more of that synthesizer analyst archetype, because I know that about myself. So interruptions are going to happen. We live our lives on 15, 16-week intervals with the semester. You know, the semester starts, semester ends. We have preparatory meetings. We have assessment meetings at the end. At each sort of wave comes, and we have to be ready and willing, honestly, to pick up where we left off. Again, that goes back to the phase that we are in our lives as well. I have a small baby at home, so my time is not my own. I'm on his schedule, his every 3-hour schedule between bottle and nap, and so we have to adapt how we approach our projects. What may have worked for us as graduate students, staying up 24 hours, finishing the project, may not work for us as mid-career researchers. Maybe our students or our administrative duties are taking more precedent. I think it's being adaptable and being flexible and recognizing where we are personally and professionally that will allow us to overcome distractions.
Thank you. So it again speaks about the importance of collaboration and collaborating with the right kind of person so that they counter for where we lack. The next
Mhm.
question we have is about the kind of publication. Is it necessary to publish research papers in Scopus or Web of Science index journals? What about peer-reviewed journals?
Mm. Um, my my chair, Dr. Basilio Montero, calls the peer review process an intellectual Ponzi scheme. um, he says that the peer review process is unfortunately inherently corrupt and not beneficial for the betterment and the advancement of our knowledge. I would say that, of course, again, this depends on where you are in your career. You need to have very clear expectations with your chair, with your dean, with your whoever is on your whoever you report to, what their expectations are of you. If they require you to publish in certain journals that have X number of impact factor, you need to shoot for those, because that's an extrinsic motivation, of course, something that is required of you. The open access journals, I think everyone sort of has their own ideas on what open access means to them. 10 years ago, it meant anyone can publish anything. Today, that's not the case. Open access is by and large still peer reviewed and still possesses a lot of rigor and quality. However, the price for doing so is not feasible for many academics. I believe I had the option most recently of making my my recent publication open access. The fee for doing so was $5,000, which is unfortunate. It's not realistic for many of us, and absolutely unreasonable given that we are handing over our intellectual work to a publishing company. That's just my opinion. So I would say be realistic in your expectations of where you're publishing, be strategic, and have very clear expectations from your dean, from your chair of what you need to do. But ultimately, once you've met those expectations, anything in excess is a bonus. Publish where you want to, publish where you feel your work is valued, where it will be seen by the audience that you want to. If it's more theory-based, or if it's more practical facing, that's completely up to you.
Thank you. And as someone who has a citation of close to 1,000, I think if you could share a few words on how do you work on citations? Like, does work on publishing and Scopus in journals help get citation, or giving it as an open access?
Open access is always going to receive more citations, just because of the access to of your work. There's no paywalls, there's no institutional subscriptions that you have to do. And so always open access is going to be cited more. However, just because something is cited more, I don't necessarily think that means that it's increased quality. I think that it depends, again, where you are in your career, if you can afford to do so, if you feel that it's necessary to do so, if your institution will sponsor it on your behalf. Some universities will do that. Some of them will pay the open access fee. If they see the project as meaningful, contributing to their mission, contributing to the profile, enhancing the profile of the university. So that's certainly something to ask as well. If you feel your piece is noteworthy and it should be open access, I would encourage you to ask your institution to sponsor it and not pay for it yourself.
Thank you. So the next question adds a different dimension to collaboration. How much of university-based research gets you in industry and real-world social problems? And if it is not being utilized, how do you think industry collaboration can or should happen to enable that?
It's the question. I'll respond with how we academics like to respond to a lot of questions. It depends, right? So I think many of our disciplines can benefit from the professional or practical background that we work in. We would like to think that our research is of benefit to our fields. Practically, we would like to think that our research is informed by the pressing needs of different fields. I don't know that this is always the case. Institution or universities as a whole, you know, a very old conservative institution is always 5 or 10 years behind our industry. It takes us a long time to research. It takes us a long time to collaborate, to publish, go through the peer review process. By the time our work is published and is seen as legitimate and credible, our industry is typically on to the next thing. So we are sort of retrospectively examining things, but in real time, if that makes sense. It's a necessary, or rather it's just a systemic issue of the way that we have our publishing process. But I would like to think that we can strategically partner with our industries and with our disciplines to tackle projects that are of interest and in service of all of the industry.
Okay, so we can plan and collaborate accordingly. I think we'll move to the last question for the day. So, as an undergraduate college that would like to start an interdisciplinary journal, what are the challenges you think that we would face?
Institutional buy-in, administrative support, and I think St. John's, our college, actually has its own interdisciplinary journal. And one thing that it struggles with is its reputation. It's some see it as just a St. John's journal. Others see it as a interdisciplinary journal outside of the university. But I would say establishing its reputation for getting quality submissions will be the difficult part at the beginning. I would reach out to senior scholars in your department, in your college, and ask them to submit their work. Them being senior scholars with their own already established reputations, publishing in that interdisciplinary journal may lend more credibility and more importance to the outside scholarly community. And then hopefully the rest will follow suit once they see those of note, so to speak, publishing in your journal. That sounds like an exciting project, and I wish you the best of luck.
Thank you. So with that, we come to the end of the session, and thank you for your patience answering all the questions. I would like to request Dr. Maria to propose a vote of thanks and conclude the session.
Thank you, Dr. Mary. We extend our heartfelt thanks to Dr. Tiffany Mohr for delivering an insightful and inspiring session on research temperament and collaborative research. Your ability to simplify complex ideas, share practical strategies, and emphasize the importance of collaboration has left a lasting impact on all of us. Your session was not just informative, but also a powerful reminder of how teamwork and innovative thinking can drive meaningful research. A special thank you to all the participants for their active engagement, thoughtful questions, and enthusiasm, which made the session even more dynamic and enriching. We kindly request everyone to complete and submit the feedback forms by 11 p.m. today to help us enhance future sessions. Looking forward to seeing you all tomorrow for another impactful learning experience. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Mohr. And with that, we will end the session for today. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Have a great night.
You too. Have a great day.